In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take an animation you've created in Apple Keynote and use it in an iMovie project to really take your video creation skills up a notch. Hey, it's Mike back with more tips and tutorials to help you create great video for your YouTube channel, your video marketing, or your online courses. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, hit that big subscribe button and don't forget to click the little bell icon so you don't miss a thing. You know, iMovie is a great little video editing application that has a lot of the functionality you'd find in higher end, more expensive video editing software. But iMovie has a few weak spots. One big one is graphics. You really don't have much to work with out of the box with iMovie. However, you do have a lot to work with in Apple Keynote, the presentation software that comes bundled with a new Mac. Now, if you've seen any of my other Keynote tutorial videos, you know that Keynote is much more than just presentation software. It's a powerful video graphics and animation package. In this tutorial, we're going to take a commonly used video animation, an animated lower third created in Apple Keynote, and use it in an iMovie project to give your videos a professional touch. Let's get started. All right, we're going to start here in Keynote, and I'm using Keynote version 8.1 on Mac OS 10.13.6. Now, the example I'm using for this tutorial is this simple lower third animation I created using Keynote's built-in graphics tools and animations. I'm going to play this lower third animation so you can see it in action. So I'm just going to go up to the top bar here, and under Play, I'll select Play Slideshow. And we'll drop into slideshow mode, and my lower third animation plays. I'll hit the escape key to get out of the slideshow mode and back into the editing interface. Now you'll notice I have this image here in the background of my project, or the background of my slide. This is a frame of video I exported from my iMovie project that I used as a size and position reference for building my lower third animation here in Keynote. To export this frame of video out of my iMovie project, I just positioned the playhead in the timeline on the frame I wanted to export, then went up to the top right of the iMovie interface and selected the Share button. And from the pop-up menu, I selected Image. And that exported my selected frame on the timeline as a JPEG image. Then I just brought that image into Keynote and placed it in the background of my slide for reference when I built the lower third animation. All right, let's actually export this lower third animation out of Keynote and bring it into iMovie. Now, this is essentially a two-step process. The first step is to remove the background of your slide. This will make the background of your exported animation see-through or transparent, allowing you to successfully overlay the lower third animation on top of your video in iMovie. To remove the background of the slide, I'm going to make sure that I don't have any objects selected on the slide first, and I'll do that by clicking off of the slide. Then I'm going to bring up the Format properties by selecting this Paintbrush button here. In Format properties, you go down to Background, and right now, Image Fill is selected, and the image filling the background is my reference image. So I'm going to select the background menu, and from the list, I'm going to select No Fill. The background of my slide is now empty, and you know that it's empty by this red slash symbol right here. Okay, so that's step one, removing the slide background. Step two is exporting my lower third animation as a video file I can use in iMovie. And to do that, I'm going to go up to File, Export to Movie, and I'll get this export menu. From the playback option, this drop down here, I'll select self-playing. Now, why would I select that? Well, let's cancel out of this export dialog, and I'll show you why. So we're back here in the Keynote editing interface with my lower third animation, and I'm going to go up to the top here and select the Animate button, which brings up this animation or build panel. I'm going to drop down to the bottom here and select the Build Order button, which brings up the build order panel. So why am I showing you this? Well, this is the sequence of all the animations that make up my lower third animation. So take a look at the bottom part of the panel as I click through each of these animations or builds. You see under Start that all of these animations start on their own, one after the other, with various time delays you can see here. Which means they don't need to be triggered manually. They play by themselves. In other words, they are self-playing. Which is why, if we return to the QuickTime export settings, under Playback, we select Self-Playing. I'll ignore these settings, the Go to Next Slide after and Go to Next Build after. You use these if you set your animations to advance manually in the Build panel. Next, I'll select the resolution for my exported QuickTime movie. From the drop-down menu, I'm going to select Custom. Now, in most cases, you want this to match the resolution of your slides. My slides are 1920 by 1080 resolution, so I'll enter that into these fields. All right, down here we have compression type. This is the most important setting. Now remember, I want the background of my lower third animation to be transparent so that I can overlay it onto my video in iMovie. To store transparency information in the QuickTime movie I export out of Keynote, that QuickTime movie needs to contain what's called an alpha channel. An alpha channel tells other software what parts of an image are transparent and what parts are not transparent or opaque. So looking at our choices here, which one of these compression types gives me an alpha channel? Well, it's this one at the bottom here, Apple ProRes 4444. So how do I know this gives me an alpha channel? The 4 4s. The first 3 4s represent color information, RGB, red, green, and blue. The fourth 4 represents an alpha channel. I need an alpha channel, so I'll select Apple ProRes 4444. Now keep in mind, Apple ProRes 4444 produces big file sizes because there's next to no compression happening on the export. But it's the only compression type with an alpha channel, which is what I need, so I'll hit Next. That brings up this Save dialog. I'll save my file to the desktop, give it a name, and select Export. And Keynote will export my lower third animation as a QuickTime movie with an alpha channel. All right, let's hop over to iMovie. So I have this video clip on the timeline. I'm going to grab the lower third animation I exported out of Keynote and lay it on top of this video. So I'll find that QuickTime file and drag and drop it on top of the video clip in the timeline. So let's play this section and see what we've got. And there is my lower third animation playing nicely over top of my video because of that alpha channel. Here's the final render of my iMovie project, including the lower third animation created in Keynote. The ability to combine or composite Keynote graphics and animations into your iMovie projects is a powerful technique that opens up a whole new world of creative possibilities for your iMovie videos. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found value in it. And if you want more tips and tutorials for creating great video, whether it be for your YouTube channel, your video marketing, or your online courses, hit that big subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.